The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Tuesday, 19th of May.
The FujiCast.
Welcome to the FujiCast, the show that was once weekly, now daily, for the moment, while many countries are still in their various forms of lockdown. Hi, Kev.
Hello, Neil.
Good episode yesterday, by the way. Lots of really good feedback about your interview with Martin Parr. Excellent job, sir, I'd say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Job well done. And I believe you're interviewing a few other very special people over the next week as well.
Yep, playing catch up with a few people. So we've got, I think this week I'm doing Renzi Ruiz, the American Los Angeles-based street photographer.
Yeah.
And also my mate Big Bert Stefani.
Why does Bert Stefani always get an affected voice every time you talk about him?
This is how he speaks. Right?
Oh,
Big Bert Stefani. My name is Big Bert Stefani.
Make him sound like a character off of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And Renzi, as you say, is Renzi the one that also shoots street with the iPhone as well?
I think he has done, yeah. I think he's just one of those people that is just talented no matter. He'd probably be able to take good pictures with an eggshell.
Right. Well, a pinhole eggshell.
Yeah, pinhole one.
We've just been moving around a Belfast sink in the garden. We're having some domestic chores and stuff done this morning because we've been growing tomato plants. Well, young Thomas has been growing tomato plants, and so we found this old removable kind of greenhouse. You know those plastic greenhouse things. And anyway, we found it. It was all beaten up and in the corner. Rotting, and we found it underneath all the undergrowth and overgrowth or whatever it's called, and we've sort of breathed some new life into it, and we needed to put it on top of the Belfast sink. So we moved the Belfast sink, which weighs, by the way, a ton.
Yeah, they're heavy. We have one in the kitchen, and very heavy.
Yeah,
things.
This one was full of earth as well because it's still got the tomato plants in it, and we put this plastic thing over it. And Kev, just as we put the plastic thing over it, and we cleaned the thing as well, so God knows how we hadn't found it. I'm telling you, the biggest spider you have ever seen just came. And Thomas jumped out the way with an expletive, which shocked both of us, to be honest. And he said it 3 times until Sam said, "Could you stop saying that word, please, Thomas?" He said, "But look at the thing!" Honestly, this thing's so large it could come into the living room tonight, sit on the sofa and grab hold of the remote. I wouldn't be surprised. It was huge.
Give it a name. Spiders always seem far less horrible when you give them a name. What should we call it? Let's call it
Dave.
Dave the spider. Yeah, that's a good name.
Dave the spider can't be. There is a. Did you see that famous spider on YouTube, by the way? Oh, I must think of it. I'll ask Thomas and I'll remind you if I can remember tomorrow. There's a spider that's on YouTube that's been animated that's become fluffy. It gets millions of downloads. It's a really well animated thing, and this thing has little adventures like it gets stuck down the plug hole and stuff. And apparently, it's helped a lot of people with arachnophobia. Yeah, there we go.
Good.
That's a spider fact for you. So today is it's Tech Free Tuesday.
It is.
Tech Free
Today
Tuesday.
is Tech Free Tuesday.
Tech Free Tuesday. Are you ready for the questions?
Yeah, let's go. No tech.
No tech. This one's from John Middleton. Here's a question for a bit of fun. The ability to travel in time and to any location is now available, but this trip is a one-off and is only possible for 24 hours before you automatically are sent back to today. Where, when, and what would you photograph? Over to you, Kev.
Ooh, I would go back to the last few days of King Henry VIII.
I knew you were going to choose King Henry VIII. I am.
Fascinated by him.
What happened in the last couple of days then? Why would it be the last couple of days in particular?
Because he said we only had 24 hours.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. I thought.
I don't want to go like for the week before and then find myself missing the good bits at the end.
Well, it would be quite interesting to be in the room when he was having an argument with one of his wives, wouldn't it? Really?
Well, yeah. Well, no, actually, I think that would be quite terrifying.
It would be. I'm a bit like you, actually. I'd photograph something historical. I was thinking like the Battle of Hastings or something. Or if it was fluffier photographic endeavour, I'd love to be on the deck welcoming back the astronauts from Apollo 11. Can you? That would have been amazing thing to witness.
There's loads of things. Loads of things to do.
Yeah. Oh, good one. Graham Merton. Don't take this question the wrong way because I'm a long-standing listener. But do you have any shoulda, woulda, coulda moments? Things like, do you wish you'd listened more in school? What are you saying, Graham? Shoulda, woulda, coulda moments. Do you have any?
Yeah. I really wish that my school had told me about the photojournalism college that was opposite our school in Newport, run by David Hearn. That all of the famous photojournalists in the entire world of the history of anything photojournalism-wise went to.
Do you think that would have changed?
Huge asterisk next to it, by the way.
Do you think that would have changed your direction earlier then?
Actually, probably not, because I was never into photography at that point. However, it would have been nice to know. I used to go past it every day and look at the dome on Newport Art College, and only really after I left university did I find out it was an art college. And my word, is the biggest tractor you've ever seen in your life has just gone past our window.
I've heard it, yeah.
You probably heard it, yeah.
I did, I literally saw it, and you're an hour's drive away.
And
I saw the shadow.
And I missed out on all of that. And David Hearn was running it, and so a lot of very, very, very good. Paul Rogers went through it. A lot of photographers went through it. A lot
Paul
of
goes through it. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Very famous photographers went through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I wish I wish I hadn't tried to be other people all the time, and concentrated on being me at some points in my life. Like I'm very much a chameleon character.
When you were Bobby Davro, that was quite interesting.
I also wish I'd been more academic and listened more in school. But I think everybody says that when they get to my age.
Sorry, what did you say? I missed that one.
I wish I'd been more academic. And God, I can't believe I fell for that one. Craig Finch, 3 quick-fire questions on Tech Free Tuesday. What new skill have you learned during lockdown? We'll go one at a time.
I don't know if I've learned anything new. Patience, perhaps.
What?
More patience.
I'd have to ask Gemma about that. Gemma, has he learned patience at all? No, I agree. I really didn't think so.
She's in work today, bless her.
Is she? Blimey.
Yeah.
She'll be out in the garden. I've told Kevin I'm at work. Another one? Why not?
What about you?
Well, I'd say podcasting. I knew how to podcast, obviously. We did. But doing a daily has taught me more about podcasting than I knew before. Oh, well, I learned how to make a wooden train for Thomas. You'll like this one. I'm laughing at this one because of a conversation we had earlier. What coincidence. Is your lockdown weight higher or lower than when we went in?
Much higher.
You've almost caught up with me. I'm not going to say what it is.
You know when you look down and you can't see your feet?
Do you know another thing that we have our little private conversations with Self and Gemma, yeah. And she texted me the other day to say that that you were worried because you were walking around with your top button undone on your trousers.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad she has this conversation with you.
Oh dear.
She always says to me, "You didn't mean that on the podcast. You meant." It's like when I said,
that's when
Saunders, I meant Dawn French.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah.
She listened to it in the morning. And she went, "You meant Dawn French, you idiot." And I said, "Oh yeah, I said Jennifer Saunders."
Yeah.
And then she said she spoke to you about it.
She did, and that's when she told me about you looking down at your top button as well. Craig, one last one. One you may need to explain. Could you live like Mishi for a year? Now, we should explain this. Mishi was a monk that we met when we shot a wedding together in Switzerland. Just before, in the times when we were allowed to be within 30 centimetres of each other. And he was the most incredible, ingratiating character, wasn't he? He was just really sweet, really everything that I would want a monk to be. He was, and we met him. We spent some time with him, and he was the best man, wasn't he, for a groom who was from an entirely different life altogether. I mean, the two of them, the juxtaposition was amazing. So that was Mishi. We spent some time with Mishi. Did that lovely chant that we featured on the. If you haven't listened to it, it's the episode where we go to Switzerland. So could you live like Mishi for a year though? I mean, that guy travelled with just 3 changes of clothes, and they were all the same.
I think so. I often think about him, I have to say, and I wonder what he's doing right now. I wonder how, because he was in a monastery in India, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Even though
he probably is.
Even at the Shaolin moves, he was showing that kid how to do the Shaolin fighting.
Oh, he was, yeah.
And I often think about him. And actually, if it wasn't for my peripheral life, which I obviously don't wish to change in any way, shape, or form, I could do that. I could Yeah, I could do that.
Well, I've got Mishi Monk's because we were talking myself and Mishi on WhatsApp. Yeah, even the monkhood has WhatsApp, and he sent me a message actually. I wonder if this will play. Hold on.
Hey Neil, thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind message, and likewise, I have to say it was really wonderful to see how you're really present and alive.
I mean, you don't get normal messages like that. How you're really present and you're alive.
I know.
Let me send
when
a
I
message.
message you, I just go, oi.
Oh wait, yeah, answer. I'm going to put hi. Is there anything you'd like to say, Mishi?
Kevin says hi.
Just wondering. And I said Kevin says hi. Just wondering how you are. Kevin says hi. Let's see if by the end of the show he sends a message back.
Bearing in mind he's 8 hours ahead of us.
Oh, is he? What, in India? Are they 8 hours ahead?
I think so, yeah. Or are they behind? No, they're definitely ahead of us.
They're ahead. All right, well, we'll see. Next one. Miles Rayner. A lens you'd be most likely to use as a paperweight, and why? That's a good question. This is obviously a paperweight, a lens that we don't like.
1024 for me, the Fujifilm 1024.
Yeah. Well, I've got you.
It's not that I don't like it, I just don't really have any need for it.
Do you not? Have you never... what about for videoing? For filming? It's brilliant for that.
I tend not to use it. I really don't. Maybe I should. I tend to use the 1655 for anything kind of wide.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mine would be an f2 135mm Canon lens, which was actually a brilliant lens. You loved that lens, didn't you?
Yeah, I used that a lot for my sports photography.
And it was a superb... Just a focal length. I bought that lens, sold it, bought it, sold it, bought it. 3 times I bought that lens. Convinced that one day it would be the kind of lens I needed to use. And I just never... I used it for a handful of times and thought, oh, what a stunning lens. But never really got on with it. So that would be my paperweight lens. We got a whole load of questions actually coming from... there were like 50 from Paul Cloden. And there were 50 also from friend of the show, Ali, as well, weren't there? So should we go for some of Paul's? These are quick-fire ones. What's the earliest memory you have?
I remember being on in my auntie and uncle's house, and I was given a fort for, it was either Christmas or my birthday, and some toy soldiers, and I remember this big toy soldier, which was probably only about an inch high, and he was a proper like American Indian. And you probably don't get them anymore, but with the big feathers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I even remember their carpet. I remember the cup of tea, because my auntie Barbara, bless her, she only died about 4 months ago. She was about 300 years old, and she used to drink tea very properly. Had to be bone china. Had to have a plate. Yeah. And she was from Newport. I mean, go figure that. But that was, and I remember that. Yeah, I'm not sure if that would be my earliest memory, but I certainly remember it. I would have been about 3.5, 4.
People in Newport know how to use bone china, Kev. Oh, we're not talking about Merthyr here. Sorry, people of Merthyr, but it is a running joke.
My very good friend who listens to the show,
not in Merthyr.
He runs a rapeseed company up in Perthshire, up in Scotland.
Right, yeah.
He grows rapeseed and makes oil that he sells to Waitrose and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he's from Merthyr.
I do apologise. It's just become a sort of just an in-joke in the show. Oh dear. What would you do with the money, Kev, if you won the lottery?
Pay off my bounce back loan.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? We've already decided. The other day we were sitting there, we were talking about what we would do with a mammoth win. Okay, we'd spent it all before the end of dinner. And I said I'd like to buy myself and Kev. I was going to pay off your mortgage, but I said I'd like to buy myself and Kev the black and white. And actually, Giles would like to come in on this as well. The black and white coffee shop.
Oh yeah,
so I like that.
I thought you were going to say the black and white Leica camera, and I was going to say, well, we'd never be able to afford that, even if we do win a lottery. But yeah, the coffee shop, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, 3 of us.
This was a bit of an oddball one. Do you need to be tucked into sleep, or can you fall asleep anyhow? Well, I don't know. Ask Gemma.
Well, I can't sleep at all these days because I've got really bad tinnitus. So I typically go to sleep listening to Louis Theroux, or I was listening to Louis Theroux being interviewed last night on the Adam.
Well, the other way. Oh, is it the last leg?
No. It's a podcast. There's a guy called Adam something or other. He's been podcasting for years and years and years.
Oh, okay.
Really, really good. Funny enough, he went to the same school as Louis Theroux, and they both have this very similar style.
Oh, right.
Oh, Can't remember.
I think
now.
I know who you mean. Yeah, but I can't think of the name either. So he was interviewing Louis. That's a bit strange, isn't it? There's tables turned for you.
It is, but it's really interesting because they do both have a very, very similar style.
Do they?
And it's quite, you should listen to it. I can't remember the name now. I will find it and put it in the podcast notes.
Yeah.
But yes, so I go to bed listening to various people talking and the constant sound like this.
Oh, no, not nice. Has it got worse? You said it's got worse, didn't you?
Yeah, it has got worse. Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid that does have to do with diet, and that question
everything's coming together now, isn't it?
Of a slight rise in weight.
Yes.
And cheese apparently is not good for it. And you've been snuffling a bit of cheese, I hear, which you shouldn't be doing.
I've fallen off my vegan bandwagon into a massive, massive, massive vat of cheese.
And sometimes wine can make a difference, and spirits. And hold on, we're being interrupted by Thomas.
I'm super duper sorry.
You're super duper sorry, but what?
I planted the baby radish. Do you want to try it?
This is a baby radish. Oh, it's very peppery.
I know. That's what radishes are like.
I know. I do know now. That's very nice.
Radish. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye, podcast.
Close the studio door. That was very nice. Very peppery.
I like podcasts.
Oh.
Sorry, radishes.
Love radish. That's Tommy. He's grown tomatoes and radishes.
Radishes or radish?
Radish.
No, let's not do that.
No, let's not go down that road.
We'll lose the listeners.
Did we answer that?
Do you get tucked in then? That was the question. Do you get tucked in, or do you?
No. I normally sort of take myself off to bed at different times anyway. That's marriage for you.
Loving marriage, loving.
Oh dear. And sorry, your tinnitus though. You've got it's the diet, it's the booze, it's the cheese. Late nights. Are you exercising?
Probably a combination of all those things. I've had it for about 20 years. It's just got a little bit worse.
Yeah, but it goes in waves, as most people say, and it does for me. When did you first notice you had it, by the way?
Years and years ago.
Has it ever changed? Because for a lot of people, tinnitus, mine started like a lorry. I remember it. It was not long after I'd had flu, and they do say things like that can bring it on. And one night, I sort of poked Sam. Oi, can you hear that lorry driver outside the window? And she said, what lorry driver? I said, it's just, woo. Why doesn't he just move off? The traffic lights must have gone green by now. She said, I don't hear a lorry. I said, look, it's a lorry. And in the end, I looked out the window. There was nothing there, and it was my ears. It was like a kind of loose roaring noise.
I don't get that, no. I just get constant whistle.
Do you? That's horrible.
It is horrible.
Have you learned to live with it?
I can hear it now. I can hear it now. It's just there.
Yeah, there are frequencies you can listen to that start to fool the brain into believing that it's kind of like it's that double noise when it cancels itself out or something.
Yeah, I'm sure there is things. I will look into it a little bit more.
Here's one from Gracia James. Greetings from España. Kevin, we know you're a lover of Spain, and if you cannot make it to the country this year, where are you likely to go on your... no, do you know, I had to download this because I knew I'd get it wrong. Vacaciones. Oh, God, what is it?
Vacaciones.
Yes, that's what I said.
Vacations.
On your
not
holidays.
to be mistaken with raciones.
What's that, then?
Plates of food.
All right. No, it's not. No.
Where would I go? We do have a week booked in October half term in West Wales in the little cottage there.
Oh, lovely.
I suspect that might be our next opportunity.
Yeah. You're going to miss Spain this year?
Oh, massively. This time of the year, like May, June,
you get quite
this is when I'm ramping up for it. I'm beginning to get ready, and I'm charging all my things. Yeah. Everything I take. I only take things with plugs on it. I don't take clothes or anything like that. Charge everything up, get the drone done, everything.
Have you ever used that drone when you're out there? Oh, you did actually, didn't you?
Loads. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Look, goes for miles and miles and miles. Don't talk to me about it. It's making me cry.
Well, you'll soon be back next year. That was the other thing I said, by the way, if we won the lottery. I said it was a black and white coffee shop. I thought we'd have a lot of fun running together. But also I said I'd also like to buy Kev. He's always wanted a photo retreat out in Spain. where he would go, people would go, they'd all descend upon it and just, they'd talk about the love of photography, they'd go and do some photography, no doubt they'd have a bit of sangria now and then, and just, fun and frolics in the pool. Not that kind of place, obviously, but just a place where people could relax, talk about photography, and just be immersed in the discussions.
Yeah, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Do you know, last year, and I'll be honest, because honesty is really important in this photography show. I know today's not entirely about photography, but that's what Tech Free Tuesday is all about. Last year was a pretty ropey year business-wise for me. I don't mind admitting that. It was not the best. I think we came out of 3 years of people just feeling a bit oof.
Well, luckily this year is going to go. Oh, hang on a minute.
Well, that's what I mean. We were all a bit about Brexit, and then there was that sort of rousing chant, whether you believed it or not, from Boris about, look, we're going to make it work. And I thought, well, at least we've got a decision. Okay, I didn't want it, but at least we've got a decision. At least we can now. And I started feeling that things were pulling back together again. And actually, this year looked really nice. June, July, August, they all look they look good. They look strong. So much so that we'd said we're not going to have a 14-day holiday. We'd make up for a bit of the ropiness of last year by having a 7-day holiday in August. Now we've got a 4-week holiday in August, but at home. And so that was it, really. This year was supposed to be a really busy working, and it was a busy working August, but not now. But no, we haven't chosen anywhere. Maybe we could come with you to Wales, because that was another question. I can't find it, but there was a question saying, somebody
asked, didn't they? Would you ever go on holiday together?
Yeah, would our two families, would we ever go on holiday together? Would you go on holiday with the Jameses?
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned a couple of times going skiing together, because we both ski. So I would, yeah, definitely.
Do you think that Mrs. James and Mrs. Mullins might get a bit upset that we were getting increasingly lazy next to the pool with just a beer?
I'm not sure they get upset, or rather resigned to the fact, perhaps. Although, actually, in fairness, I think that they might be doing very similar things.
That's true. And the kids would look after themselves, wouldn't they? You normally send them out to go look for scorpions and stuff anyway, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Go find yourself a snake, kids. Go on. Go and be kids.
Scorpions, funnel webs, snakes, all that good stuff down in Spain.
Yeah. Dennis Lee. So I was cleaning the yard today and found a sundial my father had made for the family home in California. Now, here's a question you'd never, ever expect. When I moved to New York, I brought it with me. Now, you may know that there is a 3-hour time difference between CA and NY. Do I need to add or subtract 3 hours from the sundial here in New York to get the correct time? Oops, is this a technical question? Well, not strictly speaking. Well, no, because it's not about cameras.
That's a trick question, isn't it?
Is it?
It's a joke question. Because the sundial's always going to be right. It's where the sun is, not where the sundial is.
No, I was thinking New York's 3 hours ahead, so you might need to subtract 3 hours and turn the clock 90 degrees or something.
I'm sure it just has numbers on the dial. It doesn't say New York time or anything. I guess it's where the sun is, and that's the whole point of sundials, isn't it?
No, some sundials are slower than other sundials. You can't get the sundials these days. David Mullen, how do you or any other members of the group, so this came through the Facebook group, deal with stressful weddings? I stopped shooting weddings 2011 after feeling absolutely paralysed with fear at a particular wedding due to stress. I'd never experienced it before and it changed me. So I was just wondering if I'm alone with this experience. That's quite a serious... I thought maybe we should have a serious one. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever?
At the beginning, I did feel fairly stressed. I have to say, I don't really feel the stress. I always feel anxious that I'm not going to do a good job.
Do you?
But I don't feel stressed as in, I don't know what I'm doing or I'm panicking or anything like that. That's gone away. I'm sure he's not alone, though. I'm sure there's many people who do have full-on stress, panic attacks.
Yeah.
But he did the right thing to stop, because I know several photographers who absolutely, they spend a week before panicking, and they spend the 24 hours after panicking that the files aren't right or the pictures are out of focus. And my advice to them is to do something else.
For a little while, I felt a bit anxious when the bride or groom would phone me afterwards, because I'd be thinking, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? And it would always be, hi, Neil, how you doing? I'm sorry it's been a little bit longer, but the honeymoon, then we just got back to life. And now we're ready to talk.
Yeah. So I don't know what David does for a living, but I would imagine that anybody who... who tried to do his job, who doesn't do it, would probably be equally as stressed.
That's true.
And it's like Zach Area says, we're taking pictures, not curing cancer.
Yeah, that's true. That's a famous Zach Arias phrase, that, isn't it? Ali Stewart Ross sent in loads. We've only got time for a few more, then that's it for the day. So, Ali, thank you for all the questions. She said, hey, don't stop the show. It's the lifeblood of my lockdown day. Your daily podcast is providing a national, in fact, international service. And you'll probably both be knighted for your services to unemployment and, quite frankly, bored wedding photographers.
Did she say bald?
No, bored. Bored.
Ali.
Oh, no, just remember that. That's what this person does.
Autotonsorialist.
Do you remember that word?
That's him, yeah.
Yeah, we learned a lot about that.
Yeah.
You asked for 50 questions. So just in case the listeners don't rise to the call, they have, by the way. Much to my embarrassment, I found a whole load of other questions from the last 2 or 3 weeks that I hadn't put into the right folder. So expect a lot of questions. There's going to be like a question fest. If you haven't had your question read out lately and you're thinking, what's Neil and Kev done with my question? It's coming up, don't worry. So Ali sent a whole load. Do you want to fire through these ones? And we can come back to a few another day as well.
Okay.
If you could do a podcast on any other subject, what would you choose it to be? I think Kev will have an answer to this one. Or maybe not. Rugby. Imagine, we'll come back to that one another day. Imagine you can't shoot weddings anymore. You still have to make your living as a photographer. What genre would you choose?
Rugby. Photography.
Portraits. Is everything going to be rugby, by the way?
I tried to keep the answers quick.
Why do you still shoot weddings? Oh, there we go. That can't just be rugby.
Does she mean why we used to still shoot weddings? Yes. Well, I really enjoy it actually, and it pays the bills. Pays very well. I think it's probably one of the highest paid photography type jobs you can get at the moment.
I agree.
But, when the world's back to normal.
Yeah. I'm going to ditto that one. Beer or wine?
Oh, beer.
Yeah.
And wine. Can I?
Not at the same time, no, because that would be terrible. Wine if it's a really sunny day, and I'm a bit of a blush fan. Don't look at me in that way. I do like a bit of blush on a sunny day. Cheese or chips?
Chips.
It can't be cheese, can it? Starter or dessert? Definitely starter.
Dessert.
Obviously, when they bring the food out at a wedding, and you're very lucky sometimes to be, to get the whole 3 course as a supplier. Or you get 2 courses. No, when they do 2 courses, I always think, and I'd really love that prawn cocktail that you've got with your main course. Don't bring me just yet another chocolate brownie.
When was the last time you photographed a wedding? 1974?
1975. One of those sort of hotels you go to where they have orange juice on the menu. Orange juice? Yeah. Where'd you get that from this time of year? Are you employable? Brilliant.
No, I don't think I am. Personally.
I don't think I am now. I'm too set in my ways. What have Gemma and Sam brought to your business or the podcast?
Well, I can only speak from Gemma's point of view, and she's brought sanity to some of it. Common sense. She normally spends the next morning telling me all the things that I said that didn't make any sense, or I waffled too much, or I got my words wrong, or I spelt something wrong, or I said something wrong.
She's your greatest critic. Just another couple of questions, and that's it for this week. Can either of... Well, you've answered this, but what do you feel about it? Can either of you ski? Now, you haven't skied for a while, though, have you? Do you think you could still do it?
Yeah, skiing's like riding a bike, isn't it? Very easy to fall off. Yeah, I used to love skiing. I used to go a lot. But no, you're right. I haven't done it for a while.
Last time we went, which was just before lockdown, February, went to Norway. And I was quite happy pootling about on the slopes. And mother-in-law, we go with mother-in-law and father-in-law, said, you're not going very fast. I thought, well, it's fast enough for me, thank you very much. So they took my skis in and had them waxed. When I had no idea. I know. Next time, I was on the slope and I thought, here we go, I know this slope. Off I go, and I was gone. I thought, what on earth in my days has happened here?
It's like that bit out of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, isn't it? The last time I went, not the last time I went skiing, but one of the most calamitous skiing things that ever happened to me was I used to organise a trip for maybe, I suppose there was about 10 of us used to go. This was in life number 1. And we were doing a 10-dayer. We were going to a place called Copper Mountain up in Maine. No, sorry. We weren't, because we were going to San Francisco. So we went to Breckenridge, I think, in California. And then we were going to do 7 days there and then 3 days in San Francisco and fly back. So I organised it, did it all. This was, like before the internet. I did it all on the phone and all that kind of stuff. And so we flew to Los Angeles. We hired the car. So it was like a 12-hour flight. We hired the car. It was like a 6-hour drive, big van.
Yeah.
We drove all the way through the middle of the night. We got to this accommodation at about 2:00 in the morning. Knocked on the door, no answer. Knocked on the door, no answer. And eventually, this woman come and she was like, "Oh right, I didn't think we had any people booked in today." And there's 10 people who are exhausted and freezing behind me, holding their bags. And I was like, "Oh yeah, and I booked it. Virgin Holidays, it's all sorted."
Yeah.
She went, we got a Virgin crew coming in 4 days.
Oh God!
And it suddenly dawned on me, and I was like, "Oh, could we just have a quick look at your books?" There it was. There was my name. So we'd driven 8 hours or 6 hours to the ski resort, whereas we should have done the first 3 days in San Francisco and then driven to the ski resort.
Oh, no, I thought for a minute you were going to say you turned up at this sort of house in the middle of nowhere, and it would be a bit like we're back to Stranger Things. Hello, welcome, come indoors, Mr. Mullins. It wasn't like that though, was it?
No. So guess what? That first night, all 10 of us, or 11 or however many of us it was, had to sleep in a cupboard.
Oh, no, you're joking.
All of us.
In a cupboard, literally?
It was quite a large cupboard, but it was a storage cupboard.
It was storage
and we had
cupboard.
no blankets, nothing, because they didn't have any rooms, but they did make room the next day.
Everybody loved you, I should think.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was really Mr. Popular.
You were popular. That's it for another Tech Free Tuesday. That's quite a mammoth Tech Free Tuesday then. I do apologise if your question wasn't read out. We have got loads of questions for Tech Free Tuesday. You need to send no more in at the moment.
Neil's figured out how to use his email system.
It was working fine until 7-10 days ago. Well, I've still got loads of questions. And those that we one day we'll be able to do one of our YouTube videos. When we're allowed to meet Kev, we'll be able to do one of our YouTube mop-ups with all these ones. They'd be quite funny, I think. Soon. All right, well, I've got to go out and fight the spiders again. Oh, is Mishi called? Let's have a look. Let's see if Mishi's... No, nothing from Mishi.
Don't be hurting Dave the Spider.
Well, I'm thinking of Mishi now. Dave is fine, because Mishi would say, live and let live, wouldn't he?
He would indeed.
See you tomorrow, Kev.
Bye-bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.